I'm gonna start out with the lesson from the workbook to kind of allow us to get centered a little bit. And you know, you don't have to believe it, you don't have to accept it, you don't have to welcome it. And also, the other thing to remember about this is that you're going to hear what you need to hear, you're not going to hear what you don't need to hear. And what you don't understand is not what you need to hear.
Okay.
Because if it was what you needed to hear, you get it. Okay, so if you're pondering on something I say that you don't understand, then
I'm sorry, I did it.
Oh, you did?
I'm sorry, I won't do it.
Oh, okay. I don't know what else. Okay, so I want to make this class easy, and the easiest way to make this class easy is to remember that you came here to hear a message. The message that you came to hear will be a message that has meaning to you. It won't be the message that you're trying to figure out what it means. It'll be the message that you heard it and you go, oh, aha, you know, because the one thing I've noticed about teaching the Course in Miracles, and especially the Course in Miracles class, is that the one thing about the Course in Miracles class for me is that there is no pattern in the Course in Miracles class. Because everybody that's sent are sent by the Holy Spirit, and so you never know who the Holy Spirit is going to send from class to class. So I'm always curious every time I teach to see who shows up. Really, that's the absolute truth. And so the thought that I wanted to start with as part of like a meditation, getting centering, is lesson 49 in the workbook, which is God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It didn't say all through the day except at 5:15. It says God's voice speaks to me all through the day. My Creator's voice speaks to me all through the day. That which created me speaks to me all through the day. Truth speaks to me all through the day. So people say, well, why don't I hear it? It's speaking to me all through the day. But this workbook lesson is going to cover why we don't hear it. It says it's quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day. It's quite possible to hear the voice for love all through the day. It's quite possible to hear your guidance all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. Without interrupting your regular activities in any way. Without interrupting our regular activities in any way. Without interrupting your regular activities in any way, it's possible to hear the voice for God all through the day without interrupting your activities in any way. The part of your mind in which the truth abides is in constant communication with God, whether you are aware of it or not. The part of your mind where love abides is in communication with love all through the day, whether you are aware of it or not. There's a part of you that's in communication with your Creator all through the day, whether you realize it or not. There's a part of you that's in communication with your Creator all through the day, whether you believe it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. There's a part of you that's in touch with your Creator all through the day. Did I say that there was a part of you that's in touch with your Creator all through the day, whether you realize it or not? Was that what I just said? I could have swore it was. Now, this is the trip though. It says, it's the other part of your mind that functions in the world and obeys the world's laws. It's the other part of your mind which functions in the world and obeys the world's rules. You hear that? It's the other. There's one part of me that's always in communication with my Creator at all times, whether I'm aware of it or not. And then the Course in Miracles says there's another part of me that's completely caught up in the world and functions in the world and then obeys everything that the world says. Anybody familiar with that part of themselves? Okay, the part of, I'll give you a hint. It's the part of you with a social security number. Okay, that part of you is the part of you that obeys the laws of fear, obeys the laws of separation, obeys the laws of differences, obeys the laws of script. And the main law that it obeys in the world is the law that says what's happening to me is being created by somebody else, and I'm the victim of the world that I see. That if you want to just reduce the world's laws to one law, you could just say it's the law that says it's your fault. Okay, it's somebody else's fault. Like whatever you're going through right now, whatever bugging you, the part of you that's saying it's somebody else's fault, if somebody else would change, then everything would be cool. That's the other part of the mind that's not listening to your Creator. Then it says, how can you tell when you listen to the part of your mind that's not in touch with the Creator? What the court says is this part that is constantly distracted. Like right now, I bet some of you are totally distracted. That you drift, some of you, your minds are drifted into what's going to happen later on this evening, what you did last night, where else you'd like to be, what else is going on. It says in some of the mind, that part of the mind that's not in touch with the Creator within you, I'm not talking about some man in the sky that's arbitrarily kicking butt if you don't act right. Okay, I'm talking about the spirit of divinity that created you. The Course in Miracles says that there's a part of your mind that's always in touch with the part of you that knows the truth. There's a part of your mind that functions in the world and does exactly what the world says do. And it says you can tell that part of the mind because it's the part of your mind that's distracted, disorganized, and highly uncertain. Didn't even say regular uncertain. It said it's the part of the mind that's highly uncertain. So the part of your mind that's doubting right now, the part of our mind that's disorganized and distracted, that's the other part. The Course says that's not listening to the voice for God within you. Then it says the part that's listening to the voice for God, the part that's listening to the voice for God, you can tell because it's calm, it's always at rest, and it's totally certain. So the part of you that's in tune with Spirit is completely certain, completely at rest. I love that. Completely certain, completely at rest, and always calm. Didn't say sometimes calm, said always calm. Notice that the Course in Miracles is telling us the difference between when we're listening to our real self and when we're listening to the self we made up. Because unless you know the difference between the two, how can you tell when you're listening to your guidance if you don't know the difference between when you're listening to your guidance and when you're listening to the guidance you made up? Okay, so that would say to me, any decisions that I make from the part of my mind that's distracted, disorganized, and doubting, those are not the decisions that's coming from the part of my mind that's listening to guidance. I say it again. When you follow the advice of your fear, you're not listening to God. When you let your fear dictate what you do, you're not listening to God. That's what we just heard. When the part of you that's distracted, doubting, and afraid is advising you, it's not your Creator. It's not the higher power. Based on that, I'm not listening to the Creator most of the time.
Yeah.
So it kind of explains some of the results that I've been getting.
Me too.
Because people have a tendency to think they're most accurate when they're most upset. Right? When you're most angry is when you have a tendency to think you're seeing things correctly. When you're most upset is when you think you got it correct. And the Course in Miracles is saying to us, I don't know how to break it to you, but that's when you're the most incorrect, not correct. I went, wow, that's different. Then it says, the part of your mind that's listening to your Creator is really the only part of your mind there is. The other part is a wild illusion, it's frantic, it's distraught, it's without reality of any kind.
Wow.
Today, try not to listen to it. What? Today, try not to listen to what? The part of my mind is frantic and distraught. The part of my mind is frantic and distraught. That's the part of my mind that I need to try not to listen to right now. Take a breath. Try to identify with the part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Try to identify with the part of your mind that stillness and peace reign forever. Try to identify with the part of your mind that peace and stillness rule. Try to identify with the part of you that has quiet and peace and stillness and calm and it's certain, it's resting. In other words, try to identify with the part of you that's chilled out.
Yeah.
Okay? And it says to us, also try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly. And then what would it remind you of? It would remind you that you haven't been forgotten by love. You haven't been forgotten by that which created you. You haven't been forgotten by your Creator. You're not just hanging out in the world on your own, trying to make it the best you can by yourself without any kind of support. You haven't been forgotten. Now, you know, your old boyfriend or girlfriend might be forgotten about you, but God. You know, your mom and daddy might forget about you, your sister and brother might forget about you, the people at work might forget about you, your friends might forget about you, but your Creator hasn't forgotten about you. That which loves you hasn't forgotten about you. Is that good news?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to check in. And the course says we need at least 4 or 5 minute practice periods today, more if possible. We will try actually to hear God's voice reminding us of God and of yourself. We will approach this happiest and holiest of thoughts with confidence, knowing that in doing this, we're joining our will with the will of our Creator. By doing this, by trying to identify with the part of us that loves us, we're finally joining our will with the will of our Creator, because we're trying to join with the part of us that loves us.
Yeah.
The part of us that loves us isn't the part of you that's saying, you're not enough, you're stupid, you're ugly, and you need to lose 10 pounds. That's not the voice for God. So we're trying not to listen to that voice, you know. Boy, you know, one of the side effects of studying the truth in metaphysics for many, many years is that I thought I really believed in God, and I really didn't believe in God. I was believing in myself and my own knowledge. I was taking all the books I was reading and all the workshops I was going to and everything that I was doing to make me be more in charge, and I was saying that I was spiritual. Because I noticed that within me and a lot of people that I knew that were also saw themselves on the spiritual path, none of them really talked about God or a higher power within themselves that was there to be called, because I used to not do that either. You know, and so I realized how many years I put myself through the hard way. That's the hard way. You know, listen to me in terms of how you can figure it out on your own to fix what I'm talking about. I'm gonna keep telling you, that's the hard way, people. Okay? This is a spiritual class. I'm sorry. A spiritual class has to do with getting in touch with something greater than your own ego. A metaphysical class is all about what can you manifest through your own thought that you'd like to have to play with. That's 2 different classes. This isn't my class. My class isn't about how to manifest your soulmate. Okay? My class is about how to remove the blocks to the awareness of the presence of love and God inside of you. The purpose of this class is how do I let go of all the anger, guilt, and grievances from the past that keeps me from having the abundance and the joy that I deserve to have in my life. It's about how do I get rid of all the false ideas that the world taught me about who and what I am, so that I can really experience the joy that's my divine right as a child of God. Who am I beyond this physical body, this so-called black dude named Earl? This is a spiritual class. It's not a how can I get my toys taken care of class. How can I get more toys class? How can I find the person that I can act out the wrong rules with one more time? Okay. How can I find the next person that I can put the script in me that doesn't work? I'm going to get it going one more time. That's not what this is about. This is about us recognizing that God's voice speaks to us all through the day. That there's one part of our voice that listens to the truth, and there's another part of our voice that listens to the lies that the world teaches us about who and what we really are. How do you know when you're listening to the lies about who you are? Because you don't feel peaceful, you don't feel happy, you don't feel connected, you feel afraid. That's how you can tell. And then it goes on to tell us, well, what do you need to do, Earl? Well, you need to stop identifying with the part of your mind that's frantic, distraught, confused, disoriented, and doesn't know a darn thing. Stop listening to that part of your voice, Earl. Then it goes on to say, listen in deep silence, be very still and open your mind. 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 Open your mind, 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 open your mind. Go past all the raucous shrieks and sick imaginings that cover your real thoughts. Go past all the screaming, insane, fearful ideas that cover your real thoughts, and says that hides your eternal link with your Creator. So what is it that's keeping me from knowing I'm connected to Source? All the raucous shrieks and screams and the mind talk and the fears and the worries and the concerns and all that I'm learning from the world hides my eternal link with my Source, God. So why don't people know they're connected to a higher power? Because of the raucous shrieks in their own mind. The yang, I call it the yang stuff. Anybody familiar with the yang stuff? It says, so sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. The Course in Miracles is so deep that I have to say the sentence at least 3 times. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you. Where is my peace, black man? Well, your peace is my nickname. It's black man.
I didn't notice.
You didn't notice that? You truly are blind, just like the boy said. Some people, I heard a lot of people tell me stuff like that. I never noticed you was black, and I go, "Are you blind? Can you see?"
Hello.
Hello. I don't have a problem with it. Why should you? You know what I'm saying? I'm not pretending I'm not black. You don't have to pretend I'm not black. It's just the color of my body. It's just the color of my body. Like red is the color of my car, and blue is the color of her top, and it's not what I am. It's something I'm wearing.
Yep.
Yes.
You're not black, you're walnut.
I'm a what?
Walnut.
See, I can be a walnut too. And there's as many different perceptions of who I am as there are people with eyes. So I can be a walnut.
The nut part's right.
Yeah. What's that?
The nut part's right.
The nut parts is definitely right. Exactly right. You got the nut right, brother. I tell you. It says, so where does your peace wait? He says your peace is beyond the frantic rise of thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. Your peace is beyond the sights and sounds of this insane world. Your peace is beyond the sights and sounds of this insane world. Your peace is beyond the sights and sounds of this insane world. You can't focus in on the sights and sounds of this insane world and think you're going to find peace. So if y'all all day long you focused on the sights and sounds of this insane world, the Course says you won't know the deep peace that's beyond that. So right now, if you're caught up in the world, of course you don't feel peace right now. Of course you're worried right now. It's because your focus is on the world and not beyond it. Well, how do I get my focus beyond the world? That's what the purpose of a spiritual path is. The purpose of a spiritual path is to give you a focus beyond the world, whatever that spiritual path is. I'm blessed enough to have found the one that works for me, which is A Course in Miracles. I hope you find the one that works for you. But it's what will take you beyond the riotous, insane, frantic sights and sounds of this world that keep you upset. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. You can't do it on your own. You can't do real spiritual involvement by yourself because that's contradictory to what real spiritual involvement means. Because real spiritual involvement is knowing you're joined and connected and not alone. So it's kind of crazy to think you're going to join by yourself.
Yeah.
Did you hear me, Bonnie?
Mm-hmm.
How many people are trying to join alone? All alone, without ever really saying, I need to, it's a collaborative venture here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got to join with my higher self. I've got to join with my greater self. I've got to join with everybody and everything around me. And joining with you has nothing to do with having a conversation with you. Joining with you has to do with recognizing we have the same source.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
What if we periodically slip?
But that's what forgiveness is for. Right. That's the whole meaning. That's why I'm studying this book. Because you know what? I am going to slip. I am going to slip. If I already knew how to know my oneness at all times, I wouldn't even need a spiritual path. Yes, I am going to slip. You're going to slip. If you make it okay to slip, then your slipping won't be a slip. If you make it okay to slip.
Oh, that's cool.
I make it okay to slip. I tell anybody in my life, I ain't gonna do it right all the time. I'm not gonna do it right all the time. I'm not gonna do it right all the time. I'm not gonna do it right all the time. I'm not gonna do it right all the time. I'm not gonna even try to do it right all the time. I'm gonna do the best I can.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm not gonna promise you I'm gonna love you all the time. I'm gonna treat you right all the time. I'm gonna do right by you all the time. I'm never gonna get upset with you. That's a bald-faced lie. And there's nobody that's ever told you that's kept that promise. Nobody that you were really special with, really special with. I'm not talking about the casual acquaintance that see you for 2 seconds, but there's never been a person you had a special relationship that you haven't experienced some form of lack of peace at some point in time. So we already know what the Course is saying is the truth, but we just want to be in denial and think that you're going to be perfect in your expression of yourself while you're learning how to be perfect in your expression of yourself. You won't. Give yourself a break, buddy. Give yourself a break, man. You're doing the best you can. God loves you.
All right.
There you go.
I do too.
That's why his name is Purdy.
If ain't nobody else gonna do what I am, you know, I'm sick of waiting for other folk to love on me. I do it myself. I'll be my own cheap date. I know I'm gonna get lucky with me. Do you hear me? You hear me? Absolutely. 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 So the court says you don't live here. You don't live in an insane world. 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 We're trying to reach your real home. We're trying to reach your real home. An insane world isn't your real home. We are trying to reach the place where you're truly welcome. We're trying to reach the place where you're truly welcome. We're trying to reach the place where you're truly welcome. We're trying to reach the place where you're truly welcome. In other words, we're trying to reach God.
Wow.
That's where you're truly welcome. We're trying to reach love. We're trying to reach real love. We're trying to reach real love. And the part of us that don't think we deserve it is not interested in a damn thing I'm saying to you right now. It's not even listening. The part of you don't think you deserve it ain't even listening to me. It's somewhere else. Why? Because it doesn't want you to know that you deserve real love. And I'm its enemy, by the way. Any person that tells you you're loving when you're down on yourself, the part of you that's down on yourself sees them as an enemy, believe it or not.
Yep.
They're the ones that really, a part of me doesn't want to hear when I'm ready to put me down. That's why when I'm ready to put me down, I know who to call. I know the phone numbers to dial when I want to feel bad about myself. I know who will judge me if I'd like to be judged. And I also know who will remind me the truth of who I am when I forget and I need to remember. And a lot of those people in the room right now. You know, so it just depends on how I want to feel, who I spend my time with. Who I want to spend my time with determines what I want to remember and what I want to experience. Because I know exactly who to go to if I want a loving, fearful truth experience, and I know exactly who to go to if I want to doubt myself again and be afraid and wonder if I'm loved and if I'm really cared about. And the funny part about it was the people who I used to make me the most afraid and unloved used to be the people I spent the most time with and the person I spent the most energy on, and all the people who were loving me, I didn't even invest in those relationships at all. I don't know if any of y'all can relate to what I'm talking about, but you'll find that all your attention is all on the guy that's giving you the hard time, or the woman that's giving you the hard time, or the situation, and then all the loving people around you, don't even see them.
And
don't
now
even
you're
notice
transformed.
them. What'd you say?
And now you're transformed.
I'm transforming. I am truly transforming. That's the truth. And I'm glad about that, because transforming is so much easier than being the way I used to be.
Yeah.
I wonder why I used to think that the truth was the hard part and the world was the easy part. And when I tried to study the truth, that was what was tough. But doing what the world teaches was easy. Now it's exactly the opposite. Now it's exactly the opposite. The truth is what's easy to hear, and all the insane projections and blame and anger of the world, that's the part that doesn't make any sense to me, and that's the part I'm not interested in. That's how I know I'm changing my mind. So the Court says, don't forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Don't forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Don't forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Don't forget to what? Repeat today's idea very frequently. Do it with your eyes open when necessary. Do it with your eyes closed when possible. Be sure to sit quietly and repeat the idea. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. Whenever you can, repeat the idea. You can say, love's voice speaks to me all through the day. If you got a problem with God, you can say, my Creator's voice speaks to me all through the day. You can say, God's voice speaks to me all through the day. You can say, love's voice speaks to me all through the day. You can say, the Creator's voice speaks to me all through the day. Realizing that you are inviting your Creator's voice to speak to you. So how can I hear the voice of my Creator? I'm going to have to invite the voice of my Creator to speak to me. I need to invite the voice of my Creator to speak to me. So anybody that feels like saying it, and it's only if you feel like saying it, would you say, God's voice speaks to me all through the day? God's voice speaks to me all through the day.
God's voice speaks to me all through the day.
God's voice speaks to me all through the day.
God's voice speaks to me all through the day.
Love's voice speaks to me all through the day.
God's voice speaks to me all through the day.
Love's voice speaks to me all through the day.
Love's voice speaks to me all through the day.
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 Love's voice speaks to me all through the day.
Love's voice speaks to me all
all through the day.
all through the day.
Love's voice speaks to me all through the day.
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 God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. Love's voice speaks to me all through the day. Love's voice speaks to me all through the day. The elect, love's voice speaks to me all through the day. Love's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. Now, there are some of you that I would love to listen, okay? And you can tell who you are. I can help you. If you have no real energy, no real enthusiasm to do it, it means you're supposed to let yourself receive right now. If you feel self-conscious, too embarrassed, too bashful, too shy, you think I'm crazy, it's okay. Just be quiet and let yourself listen. Those of you who feel like putting some juice into it, I want you to put some juice into it with me because we're innocent. I don't always feel like saying anything either. Okay? It's okay. What I would like to have is some energy that's 100% with me out loud for a minute. Is that okay? Yeah. Everybody else just listen. Just because I want God to work in my life. I want to go beyond that raucous, that insane, frantic voice inside of me. I want to let go of that part of me. So I'm going to do what it says. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. Say what? God's voice speaks to me all through the day. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And breathe. Okay. See, your body is the seat of your memories. All your memories are stored in your body. That's why even though your cells change every 7 years, you'll still have a scar on your leg that you got when you were 10 years old. Your body remembers everything that's ever happened to you. So you want to make new memories in your body. And when you move and you express yourself and you're energetic, like I just did, it imprints your body. It makes an impression on your consciousness, and then your reality and your perception of reality shifts, and it changes. That's how you make a change. You have to participate in it. I'm sorry. That's how you make a change. You have to participate in the change. Because everything you do is symbolic of your willingness to be healed. It's symbolic that you're willing to do it another way. So the section I want to talk about, I asked Spirit to just show me the section to talk about today. And the Spirit just told me, well, just open the book. I got a part I want you to talk about. So I opened the book, and the section that I turned to was called The Attraction of Pain. A real cheerful section. Okay. It's on page 414 in the text. And do you know that people don't know that they have an attraction to pain?
Yes.
Isn't that interesting? It's like we go through pain, but we don't think we're attracted to it. And most of the time when a person is attracted to pain, they don't even know it's going to be painful. That's how they get in it to begin with.
Yep.
Right, because they think it's going to be a pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay. So the very first line in this section says, your little part is but to give the Holy Spirit the whole idea of sacrifice. So if you want to be released from your attraction to pain, give up the idea that you have to sacrifice in order to be happy.
Can you say that again?
If you want to let go of pain, you have to let go of the idea that sacrifice is love, and that you have to sacrifice in order to be happy. And it said, give to the Holy Spirit the idea of sacrifice. I thought it was interesting. So what does that mean? Give to your higher self. Give to love the whole idea that you have to sacrifice. Give to your Creator the idea that you have to sacrifice. And what you do is you give your higher self the idea of sacrifice, and then in return you accept the peace that love gives. You accept the peace that your Creator gives. I give up the idea of sacrifice, I accept the idea of peace. I give up the idea of sacrifice, I accept the idea of peace. Now the Course in Miracles definition of peace is complete fulfillment. Peace isn't meditating on your neighbor on top of a mountain, which is cool if you choose to do it. Peace is having total fulfillment in your life. I love that. Peace means total fulfillment. Beautiful definition. When you say I want peace, you're saying I want to experience total, not partial, complete and total fulfillment. So in exchange for me giving up the idea of sacrifice, the Course says Spirit will give me total fulfillment. That the fulfillment is on the other side of my idea of sacrifice. What is another word you could use for sacrifice? The Course in Miracles says another word for sacrifice is loss or losing. So you have to give up the whole idea that you can lose. Let go of the idea you can lose and total fulfillment will be given you. Let go of the idea that you can lose and total fulfillment will be given you. Let go of the idea that you can lose and total fulfillment will be given you. Not only can you receive total fulfillment, but you can receive total fulfillment without any kind of limits that would hold it back. How would you like to have total fulfillment without anything limiting it?
Yeah.
Okay, well the Course in Miracles says you don't want your awareness of your total fulfillment limited either. I don't want the awareness of my peace limited. How do I do that? I let go of the idea that I can lose. I let go of the idea that I have to sacrifice in order to be happy. Who can tell me what I said that you have to let go of in order to have total fulfillment?
Illusion of
The
loss.
idea of loss, the idea of sacrifice, the illusion that you can lose. Can you perceive it as though you can lose?
Yes. Sure.
Can you perceive it as though you can lose?
No, not
Not
if
if you're doing.
Can you, don't analyze it. Just answer it. Can you perceive as if you can lose?
Yeah.
Of course you can see things as if you've lost. And anybody who says they haven't is lying. You know in your whole life you've seen some idea of loss.
Right.
Okay? Sometimes I see people go, no, you know you're lying now. Because you know if you grew up on the planet Earth, at some point in time since you've been born, you thought you've lost something if you be honest with yourself. Yeah. We cannot get to total fulfillment by pretending that we are not where we are. That's not spiritual development. It's being in total denial of what's really going on inside of you. And you need to let go of that idea of spiritual involvement, Earl, where you think it's all about saying you feel good when you don't, saying you're happy when you're not, saying things are going fine when they're not. If that's not the way you feel, don't you dare tell yourself you feel happy when you feel sad. You better tell yourself the truth about your feelings so that you can get on the other side of them. Right. Tell yourself you're feeling happy when you really feel sad. The sadness will be creating problems for you that you won't even know where they're coming from because you're in denial about your own fearful thoughts, which are creating the problem that you're going through right now, but you're in denial about it because you're saying you're doing fine and you don't feel fine. There's some things in your life you feel fear about. Say it to yourself, Earl. Stop lying to yourself in the name of spirituality. It is not being spiritual to be in denial. Raj. I'm so glad y'all are here to watch me teach myself. That's so nice of you. I appreciate it. Because I know none of you have these issues, right? That's why you can look at me like, really? How who else in here are willing to admit in their life they've ever had the thought that they've lost something? In your whole life? Okay, all right. Was it a fulfilling feeling?
No.
No. Now we know why it wasn't a fulfilling feeling. Because it is a thought that keeps you from receiving the total fulfillment of the universe.
Precisely.
The universe wants to give you every single thing that makes for your joy. Why is it that I don't know it? You believe in loss and sacrifice. You believe you can lose a partner, you believe you can lose a mate, you believe you can lose your job, you believe you can lose your car, you believe you can lose your health, you believe you can lose your, you believe you can lose your, you believe you can lose your, you believe that you can lose your, you believe that you could lose your.
I can even feel it.
Can't you feel it? Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah, and so by just, we don't know that just by admitting it, we dispel it.
Yes.
See, that's what the average person don't know. They don't know just by telling themselves the truth about how they feel, the truth can make itself known, because now you got something, you can bring that to the truth now. Okay, then it goes on to tell us that it is not this you would be rid of. You want to use this piece for your release, and it's not your peace you would be rid of. And having the peace, you can't limit the peace. But if peace is homeless, you are homeless, and I am homeless. If peace is homeless,
Yeah.
I love that. Is this your wish? Would you forever be a wanderer in search of peace? Do you really want to spend the rest of your life searching for the truth,
No.
searching for the love, searching for the peace? I don't want to seek forever. I don't give a hoot about being a seeker of the truth for the rest of my life. I don't want to be a seeker of the truth for the rest of my life. I want to be a finder. I want to be a finder of the truth. I don't want to be a seeker of love for the rest of my life. I want to be a finder. What about you? That's the question. It says, would you forever be a wanderer in search of peace? Would you invest your hope of peace and happiness in what must fail? What?
Oh my.
Why would I keep investing in what must fail? If I keep investing in something or someone outside of myself that's going to give me the peace that's going to fail every time. It is no such thing as placing your faith outside of yourself and it eventually not failing. Rise. So do I want to be a wanderer in search of peace forever? No. Do I want to keep on investing my time and energy into what must fail? No. How do I keep from doing that? Let go of the idea of sacrifice. Sacrifice is not love. 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 Sacrifice is not love.
Thank you.
Now, questions, comments, disagreements, I don't care. Come forward. Go for it. It doesn't matter. Go ahead.
Okay, Earl, I have a question, because Thursday I went to an event and I had a profound experience that I'm still experiencing right now. And my usual belief is that the people that were at the event, they gave me this. But I just got an aha moment when you were talking that it was because I opened up to the connection that was already there. I opened up to that, and that's why I was able to receive it.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you. There you go. There you go. All right. Thank you, brother. Anybody else? Comment, question, doesn't matter.
Is sacrifice just the way you're looking at it? I mean, is sacrifice, can that actually be giving?
Sacrifice is a way of looking at it. I've used the example many times. A father who works 70 hours a week to provide for his 12 children and wants to because he loves them is not sacrificing.
Yep.
The father who's sacrificing is the one who's complaining, resenting, and hating it.
Yep.
That's the one. So you're right. Sacrifice is an attitude. So is loss. Just in attitude.
Altitude.
It can look like someone died and that's a loss, or it could look like they went to a greater existence, which would not be a loss. It's all the way you want to look at it. So you're right. Loss is strictly an individual perception. And so what do? I let go of the idea of my perceptions of loss. I let go of my perceptions of loss. I claim that everything that's happened in my life is for my own best interest.
Yep.
And that everything that's ever happened to me in my life benefited me. So now none of it was a loss.
There you go.
Now none of it is a loss. Why? Because it brought me to where I am right now. I claim it as all good.
Yep.
You know, even what appeared to be abuse or what appeared to be challenges and problems and poverty and things I went through as a child, I claim it was all part of the plan to bring me to the point that I am letting go of the idea of pain and sacrifice and allowing total fulfillment to come into my life with you right now. All of that brought me to this point where I am right now, so I claim it as all good. So that let go of the idea of sacrifice and let go of the idea of loss. It's an attitude, it's not a reality. Loss is an attitude and a belief, not a reality. No matter how tragic it appears to be, there's another way you could look at it that you would not see it as a loss. Because love doesn't kill to save. Love doesn't injure. Love doesn't take what you value from you. Love doesn't punish you. Love doesn't limit you. So love never would take a loved one away. Love never would take your abundance away. Love would never take anything from you that gives you total fulfillment. Love wouldn't ever try to limit you. Fear does. Guilt does. The idea of sin does. The idea of being separate does. The idea of I need to attack, compete, and get. Now that creates all of the insanity we see in the world. If you wonder where all the insanity we see in the world is coming from, it's coming from the idea of sacrifice. It's coming from the idea of loss. It's coming from the idea of attack. It's coming from the idea that we don't all have a common interest and desire to be loved and loving. It's coming from me thinking there's a me and a you. And I got to look out for me more than I got to look out for you. And maybe I can find one special person that I can look out for more than any other person, and then I'll be happy. All of that's behind what we're going through in the world is the idea of separation, projection, blame, guilt, anger, the idea of sin, the idea that you're bad, the idea that you're not enough. That's what's creating all pain on every level that we're going through in the world right now. All of it. But you know what? I used to wait for everybody else to change. I was just to sit back and go, as soon as y'all get y'all's act together, then the world's going to be a better place. Because the problem ain't with me. That's just understood the problem, not me. It's you. I am responsible for what's going on in my life. I'm responsible for everything I'm experiencing in my life right now. I am responsible for everything that's happening to Earl Purdy, everything that's happening to me right now on every level, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Every single thing that's happening to me, I am responsible for it. I am. Not you, not my parents, not my childhood, not my race. I am responsible for how I'm experiencing my experience of my life right now. I am 100% responsible, and so are you. And that's where your freedom is located. That's how you know you can change whatever you're unhappy about right now, because if it was dependent on anybody else changing, you're stuck, buddy. So it's really to your advantage, whether you like it or not, to say, I'm responsible for the misery I'm going through in this area, or I'm responsible for the joy I'm going through in this area. It will free you. Blaming somebody else will never, ever, 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 ever free you. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. The truth is speaking to me all through the day. And the Course in Miracles says the truth is going to say this thing to you whenever you're unhappy or crying. The truth is going to say, you're doing it to yourself.
Yeah.
He says, right, the Course says straight out, the voice of truth is going to say, you're doing this to yourself. And that's like acid. That's like pouring water on the Wicked Witch, on the Wizard of Oz. You know what I'm saying? To tell yourself you are doing it to yourself. It was my mama. She had adjusted me. And my dad had adjusted me. If everybody would just treat me. Some of y'all look at me like I'm crazy. Some of y'all like, what the hell is he saying? I don't care. I'm happy to hear it. I love looking out at the audience. It is a trip when you're a teacher looking out at the people that you teach. It's a trip, man. Anybody that teaches knows. It's like you'd be amazed at what your faces reveal. I can tell who hasn't suffered enough yet. I can tell who is really ready to change. I can hear who's totally, completely like dismissing what's being said. I can tell who's analyzing. I can tell who is looking at me with, I want to find out where you're wrong and make you wrong. I can tell, it's so funny to look around. It's just, There's nothing about us that's hidden. It's so funny that we think we really like can hide from each other. We can't hide from each other at all. It's just like when you're in a special relationship with somebody and all of a sudden they're treating you totally different from the way they've been treating you, and you go, I know something's up with them. They said nothing. You say, yes it is, it is something. You treat me, a minute ago you were chewing my ear off, you know, you about to eat my head off. You was just all over me. Now you haven't spoke to me for 2 days and you're gonna tell me everything's all right? You know what I'm saying? We are not hidden. There's nothing about us that's really not very obvious to the eyes of love. I'm telling you, you are loved. And I'm telling you that you deserve to be loved, that I deserve to be loved, and you deserve to be loved, and I deserve to be loved, and you deserve to be loved, and I deserve to be loved, and you deserve to be loved, and I deserve to be loved. Why am I saying that? Because the Course in Miracles says the only thing we need to do is remember it. We just need to say it to ourselves over and 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 over again, because you know that the world ain't saying it to you yet, because the world's not going to say it to you till you say it to you. And if you're going to have a relationship at all, make sure the purpose of that relationship is for you all to remind each other of how loving and lovable you are. Or else get rid of the joker. There is no reason to be with anyone that you're with them and you don't feel like at some level you're awakening and you're letting go of fear and anger and guilt and separation. You know, it might look like your relationship with your children, you don't have no choice, but usually that's a small percentage of your life. And the rest of it is pure choice, especially if you're an adult. There is no excuse for an adult being surrounded by people that are not inspirational to them. There is no excuse for having friends that you don't equally motivate each other and help build each other up. There is no reason, because you are such a power. You're an adult. You're an adult. You can say, this is unacceptable to me, this isn't helping me, you're totally innocent, and I'm going to choose something different, and you're beautiful, but I'm not going to stick around in this.
Exactly.
You could. But most people go, no, you're not committed. What are you committed to? Your misery?
Yeah.
Are you committed to joy? You are committed. You let go of your commitment to people and make sure you're committed to your truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Forget commitment to people. Be committed to your truth.
Yeah.
Be committed to your principles. Be committed to that which you say is true for you. And the people who share those truths and principles, they'll be drawn to you.
Yep.
They'll come into your reality. But you don't have to stick with somebody or some situation until you can get them to be the way you want them to be so that you can be happy. Because if you do that, you're doing the opposite of the truth, which is that your happiness does not come from outside of you. Your happiness comes from within you. So if you expect the universe to change a person so you can be happy, you're actually asking the universe to do what's totally unnatural to the truth. Because the truth isn't based on something outside of yourself or somebody outside of yourself changing in order for you to be happy. So as soon as I can just get them to be different, you're not getting no help from God.
Nope.
You're not getting no help from spirit to change something outside yourself for you to be happy, or would be reinforcing the idea that your happiness is outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And your happiness isn't outside of yourself, even though you keep trying sometimes. Sure.
So if I'm the dad that's doing that 70-hour week,
Mhm.
and I'm resenting and I'm pissed off and all
Mhm.
that sort of stuff, there might be a time in my week where I kind of could hear Holy Spirit, right, saying, you can let this go, you could choose something else. And so in that moment I could listen, I could let that voice in,
That's the whole purpose.
right? And
That's
I
it.
could
That's it.
change my reality by asking Holy Spirit to give me a new perspective.
That's all you got to do. At some point you have to go, there must be another way, there must be a better way. I'm determined to see this differently. What would it take for me to see this differently? How can I let go of the idea of sacrifice? But then we just heard how to do it. But it's so easy, people miss it. I'll repeat it. It just said, repeat it to yourself. Didn't say believe it. It said, repeat it. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It says, repeat it. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. What voice do I know to listen? What voice should I not listen to? The one that is distracted, frantic, and disorganized and full of fear. I mean, how can it get more simpler than that? What voice do I need to listen to? The one that's calm and certain and quiet. But I'm not aware of the part of me that's calm and certain and quiet. Well, then that's your first order of business.
Right.
Is to get in touch with the part of you that's calm and quiet. More so than trying to deal with the person or the situation. Your first job has got to be for you to let go of your own distracting thoughts before you even try to deal with the person outside of you. If you can't hear the voice, then forget about the person. You need to work on hearing the voice. Because you're getting ready to make a mistake, because you're getting ready to try to handle this situation coming from the distraught voice, the fearful voice, and the angry voice. And it's going to tell you everything the wrong thing to do. And that's why the situations never change, because people listen to the part of them that's afraid, and they let that part advise them about what to do. And then it doesn't work out. They go, well, why did it work out? You weren't listening to the voice of God, Raj. You weren't listening to that calm, still, certain voice inside of yourself. Well, I don't know how to do that. Now you know what you need to be learning how to do. Now you know what you need to be working on. So how do I do that? There's like 900 quadrillion curriculums that will come to you just as soon as you're sincere about being guided and taught. But it will not, your path would not show up while you are chucking and jiving, Raj. You got to be sincere. How do I get sincere? Well, there's a sure way you can get sincere. Pain. You can put yourself through so much pain that one day you really go, I'm doing this different.
Yep.
I ain't had enough of this. I'm not going to go through another relationship that causes me this much pain. I'm not going to be afraid about money no more like that. I'm not going to be going through this about my body anymore. I'm sick of all this career crap that I've been putting I'm just not standing for what I've been standing for. It hurts too much. I have reached my limit. I'm choosing something different now. Everybody's going to reach that point, because there is a limit to pain. There is a limit to pain. There is no limit to love, but there is a limit to pain. So everybody's got different thresholds of pain limits, right? So you'll reach yours. That's why I have faith in everybody in here. You will reach your limit. And when you reach your limit, you'll be like on the edge of your seat to hear truth, not from me necessarily, but anybody. You'll be like, what's next? I want to hear it. I'm ready to be happy now. I'm ready to be happy now. You won't be laid back. You won't be, oh, I could be happy. You haven't reached your limit yet.
Yep.
Whatever that situation you're in right now, you're going to give yourself a few more rounds. And you're innocent, and it's not going to last forever. And you're going to choose for happiness because it's your divine right. The universe has decreed it. God has decreed it. I'm sorry. You can't do nothing about it. Love and joy and peace is going to happen to you despite your best efforts. I promise you, love never fails. Fear always does.
Yep.
Fear always does. Love never fails. There's no such thing as love failing. It doesn't happen. Ever. That's so good to know.
So if you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired in a certain place, then should you ask to get to your threshold of pain?
He said, if you're not sick and tired of being sick and tired, should you ask for your threshold of pain? That's an interesting question. In other words, to tell the universe, look, I'm still messing around. Bring on some pain. Give me the pain that'll make me stop playing around.
Yep.
Okay, she's at the next Rhythm Sanctuary dance if we don't have the right purpose. And you love or the loving person you could ever meet is at the next Rhythm Sanctuary if you're ready for love. It all depends on you. If you're ready, you could just declare right now, you don't have to go through the pain, and that you're just going to do what you're being told right now.
Yeah.
That would be what I would suggest. Is that you just go right here, right now. I'm just going to go ahead and choose to say the idea of sacrifice. I'm going to let go of it if I want to let go of pain, so I can have peace right now. I'm going to voluntarily say God's voice speaks to me all through the day, whether I believe it or not. God's voice speaks to me all through the day, whether I believe it or not. I'm going to voluntarily go, I feel distraught, I feel angry, I feel afraid. Maybe I shouldn't pay much attention to what this voice is telling me. Maybe I shouldn't make any moves on this until I achieve some type of inner peace, and then make a decision. That's why I don't like to talk to people when I'm upset with them. Even though it's when people want you to talk the most, that's when I refuse to talk. If I'm not feeling peace, I don't want to make any decisions about something when I don't feel peace. And I'll tell people that. It's like, I don't want to make a decision right now. What do you want to do right now? What are you going to do? I don't want to do nothing because I don't feel peace yet. When I feel peace, then we'll talk about this, because then I'll be coming from a really cool place where I can hear the voice for God telling me what to do. The decisions I've regretted the most in my life have been the decisions I made out of anger, and the decisions I made out of attack, when I was going off and mad. You know, I don't know about you, but that's true for me. When I look back, all the decisions that I regret the most are always the ones I felt most self-righteous and most angry about. And I look back at them now and say, dog, I wish I had, even if the result had been the same, I wish I had handled that differently.
Yeah.
You know, so if you're upset right now, try not to make any major decisions while you know you're freaking out. Unless it's a life or death situation, you probably don't have to anyway.
And if you already have?
You know. But if you already what?
And if you already have?
If you already have what?
Made those
decisions in anger.
Well, then as soon as you can, tell yourself, you know what, the only afterward message is don't do that again if at all possible.
Exactly.
That's all.
That's it. Sorry. I wish I could make it much harder than that. But all you got to do is that the next time you make a decision, try to make the decision that you'll do it peacefully this time. And forgive yourself for the time that you didn't. Because guess what? Readiness is not mastery. And because you're trying to be peaceful all the time, it doesn't mean you can do it yet. So be gentle with yourself. Be gentle. Remember what I said at the very beginning about we're not gonna do it perfectly all the time in the beginning. So don't punish yourself about the fact that sometimes you made decisions in anger, because there is no decision you can make that the Holy Spirit cannot correct. There is nothing that you could do that God cannot correct. There is nothing that you could do that love cannot correct. So don't worry about it. You can't make a mistake that can't be corrected by Spirit, by God, by love, by the universe. You can't. It can't happen. And whatever has happened, you could use it for your own best interest. You could say, you know, I am going to see this as an opportunity to learn a lesson that God would have me learn. I want this to be used to wake me up right now. Even a decision that I made that I thought I made in anger that I don't like. How can that decision still be used to move me forward? See, love will never let you suffer, not even from a mistake that you make. That's how you can tell love from fear. Fear says you can't make a mistake, and if you do, you're a horrible being and you deserve to suffer forever and you don't deserve love. That's fear. Love goes, you can't do anything that I can't overlook, heal, go beyond, give you another way to look at it, because you are love, and that's all you deserve, no matter what you think you've done. And since none of us have generally experienced the love that unconditional, we don't even believe it's possible, most of us, because all the love we know is the love we've given. So that makes sense. You know, I can understand why people think love isn't real, because they only experience what they've given. And if I'm only going to experience what I've given, and I really haven't given unconditional love, of course I'm going to say there are no people out there that can really do that. Because I've had people say that to me. You know, well, you really think there's people out there that could be that way? Absolutely, there are people out there that are that way. The reason why I don't see them is because I'm not that way.
Yep.
That's why I don't see them.
They're closed off.
You know, but they're waiting, just like you're waiting. Think about it. You probably have some friends or relatives right now who are maybe a little bit more asleep than you, which means they project and blame and see themselves as victims, right? You are seeing them from a more loving place,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And because they always like drama, they always attack, or they always project, you don't beat them up, do you? But you generally don't try to hang out with them a lot.
Exactly.
Isn't that right?
Perfect.
Yeah. So that's what, don't you think that's what higher
That's
consciousness
exactly
beings are
it.
doing with you?
Amen.
They're doing more loving beings are all around you. They just know better than to get involved yet. Yeah, because you do it all the time. You meet somebody and you'll go, oh no, I don't need to hook up there. You know, I don't mean no harm and I mean them well, but I know I'm just asking for drama if I get up there. It's going to be some drama. So don't you never think for a second that higher consciousness beings are doing the same thing with you. They're going, I totally love you, I'm not going to interfere with you, I'm not going to hurt you, but I'm not going to make my presence known with you because I would just frighten you and you would just attack me because you wouldn't even know how to deal with real love. Because people who are truly loving will never let you control them. They would never let you control them. Truly loving people never let you control them. And that's what spiritual people count on, is control of others. So fearful people want to attack loving people. They think loving people are selfish. They think loving people don't sacrifice enough for them. They think loving people are not going to sacrifice for you. Loving people are not going to let you control them.
No, they're not.
They're not.
No.
So they don't show up because they don't want to be attacked. Just like you don't show up with someone in your life because you don't want to be attacked. So as soon as you are ready, they'll show up. As soon as you become it, they'll be there and you'll say, wow, you were there all the time, but I didn't even see it. Love is here all the time. but we don't even see it. But it's here, and that's what you deserve. All right?
Right.
Let's give it up. Can we give it up for us? I was supposed to do a Tarzan Girl in my class.